Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a dynamic effort lower day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. It took me a set or so to get into the groove here, but today I decided to change the waves up a bit. I've been doing all of my stuff with the safety bar, so I decided I'm going to do this wave with the cambered bar, and I'm going to go from doing doubles to 5. So I did a 5x5, and I did something totally different with the deadlift, which you guys will see. I decided to do triples. So we just did 5 sets for speed work. And yes, 5s are a little more challenging. They do require a little more conditioning when doing these, because keep in mind these breaks are very, very short. We're not taking 3 or 4 minutes here. I'm taking 60 seconds at the most. So again, doing my 12-inch box, so we're getting well below parallel, doing the wide stance. But again, I wanted to use for this chain wave the cambered bar, and it's giving me, again, a different response. It's giving me a different bar path. And it doesn't mean we're going to cut out the safety bar work. I'm going to keep doing a lot of it, but I think I want to rotate it a little bit into the waves. And I'm going to continue to do sumo for this, but I may do the band waves with conventional coming up, because this has been a decent amount of sumo worked in. And since we're getting all the wide stance with the box squats, that carries over to sumo anyways. So just again, to make sure we get a good balance, I'll probably rotate those also. And that's one of the things you guys will see, because I don't have on some of my lower body lifts the same variation I do on upper, because I have some lifts that I really can't vary. It's hard for me to change up a reverse hyper or a glute ham raise, and they're staples. I can vary my speed work tremendously, right? We can rotate bands, chains, sumo conventional bars, whatever we need to do to, again, avoid overuse. And again, learn to get strong and explosive at all these angles. But this is a little different. The 5s today, it just felt different than what I've been doing in a good way. And I've tried to do it with the really aggressive 5 rep waves before, and it didn't work so well. I tried that well over a year ago. Ended up vomiting while doing it. But I'm also running lower percentages so that we can get better bar speed. But I may be able to work these up, right? I might be able to work these percentages up. But I felt like the first set or two, it wasn't as smooth. And after that, I really got into it. So I've just got to get used to the 5s, got to get used to this bar, which will take me, again, this one workout. But I feel confident the next week it will go even better. But I was happy with the last 3 sets. And again, keeping in mind, this is my real quad work at this point outside of my sled drags. And I guess I had a video on squats and quads today. My sled drags are pretty much like half of my quad work or more, really. But they will grow. And I had someone actually comment, well, it's a partial. Is it going to cause growth? Of course it will, just through the sheer volume. But keep in mind, we're getting a pretty good knee angle here, right? So the quads are getting what we need specific to the squat off doing the box work. And then the other stuff will just help me just bring them up. The conditioning work I'm doing does hit quads pretty hard, and adductors. But at the end of the day, quads are not even the most important muscle for a true squat. I need to do further videos breaking down why that is biomechanically. Now, I went ahead and did the sumos with this, and a couple of the sets I wasn't happy with. I noticed when doing these with the chains, especially for reps, that chain slides around. I've got to find a better way. I'll wrap it a little different next time to get it choked up tighter so that it can't slide as easy. But the ability of that chain to slide back and forth through these sumos off a little bit on some of the reps. Now, it forced me a little bit of destabilization, which again, I guess can be a good thing. But, we only want so much of that. But again, triples felt a little different on the speed work, again, because I'm having to do it repeatedly instead of singles. But, will this help me grind on a deadlift later? Because I'm having to exert maximum force for a longer time by doing the triples back to back. Right? We are trying to pull this with as much force as we can, and it may give me the same amount of tension time that a grindy deadlift might, right, on a true 1 rep max. So maybe it'll come in handy. But again, so in this I did 5 sets also. We did 5 triples instead of like last time 14 doubles. My standard is 12 doubles, 10 singles for box squats and deadlifts, usually for the speed work. But again, I decided let's take this over and end up doing 25 and then 15 reps total, which again is actually relatively high volume for speed work. We trimmed it into 5 sets, which again, you got to be in a little better shape. But in my case, my conditioning is really good right now, so not really a problem. Not really a problem to even do these with short breaks. So we took maybe a minute between the speed squats and about 30 seconds between these speed pulls. So again, this was done relatively quickly, and this is a lot of chains. For people looking at that going, how much is that? That's 155 pounds of chains. It's a lot of chains. So again, having to explode through that lockout quickly. And that's the idea. And after that, I went with my standard work I'm doing at the moment for this phase, and it's going to be Romanian deadlifts, glute ham raises, and strict reverse hypers. Now the Romanian deadlifts, I increased it 5 pounds again. These are getting hard. Now they're getting pretty hard at this point. I might start doing micro plates, right? Well, not micro plates, but take them up a little bit slower. But yes, that would be micro plates. We go up 2.5 pounds every workout. It would give me 5 pounds a week. Okay, a few weeks these will still be quite a bit harder. But on these, I've noticed this, we're getting close to a 10 rep max now. And the reason I say that, because they started getting difficult around rep 5. Which again indicates to me that around the 5th or 6th rep, I'm starting to again get that difference in rate coding. Right? The first few reps are obviously easy, but after that, we're starting to get challenging. We're getting close to effective reps at that point. So again, this is getting relatively heavy for me for 10s at 155. Again, especially when I'm trying to go well below the knee, get a deep stretch on these, longer range of motion. Learning to not hit the ground. I've learned to stop before I hit the ground, because I was working with that a little bit when I was doing these deeper instead of stopping just a hair below the knee. But again, had to reduce the weight quite a bit and build up when I switched over to the longer range of motion on these. And I feel like, again, I get better hamstring out of it. So again, really for me, why am I doing this lift? Erectors, hamstrings, adductors. And it's a great adductor exercise. And that matters. Because again, sumo deadlifts adductors matter. Squats adductors matter. I mean, adductors are a game changer on squats. You want a big squat, build your adductors. So this is really a good all-around supplemental lift for all deadlifts, right? Sumo and conventional. It's a good supplemental lift for squats. And again, it addresses some of the stabilizers on the squat, which are kind of primary movers on a conventional deadlift. So again, good, useful lift. And for this rotation, I've kind of replaced good mornings with it. If I had more recovery, I would add a good morning in also on top of what I'm doing, like on max effort day. But I feel like right now when I'm doing 2 training maxes, I can really only handle about 3 supplemental lifts, right? And it's mainly because I'm sled dragging pretty much every day. Again, barring weather, I try to sled drag every day. And again, you guys don't need a tutorial. People keep asking, I'm like, that is the benefit. What does every expert say one of the big perks of a sled drag is? That it requires 0 skill or teaching. Okay? Someone who is, mentally challenged could learn to sled drag on their own in 30 seconds. It's that simple. And I go for short distances. I don't drag it more than 200 yards. So no, I'm not doing it for endurance. I am doing it for true conditioning. So it's serious GPP. And again, one reason why I'll get hypertrophy out of it, because it is relatively short bursts. All right, it takes me all of 5 to 6 minutes to actually drag the sled. But when you do that every single day, we're getting good stuff, because I do other stuff just for general stuff. I broke a backpack just to get a little bit of endurance and to move around, right? I'm going to walk with a backpack, and I do that, a few times a week. So the sled drags, again, big chunk of my quad hypertrophy. But outside of that, it's everything today is posterior chain adductors, right? Because adductors aren't really posterior chain. Important hip extensor. And again, that got brought up. Someone asked me that in the comments today too. They're like, hey, why don't people talk about the adductors more? I guess I need to talk about the adductors more, because I'm a big proponent of developing your adductors for the squat. It will make or break you. I mean, adductors can be worth 50 to 100 pounds on your squat, them being developed or not, relative to, your other muscles like quads. But when you say that, people go, are you saying quads don't matter? No, of course quads matter. Of course quads matter. Moron thinks quads don't contribute to the squat at all. It's like saying triceps don't contribute to the bench press. Of course they do. A lot of people would argue pecs contribute more. And I would argue that adductors contribute more to your max squat than the quads do. All things considered. Doesn't mean the other isn't important. Like that's a ludicrous idea to take from that. But, so we did the glute ham raises. I got 13, and I only got like 10 or 11. I couldn't get 13 on the last set. My hamstrings were fatigued from all the other work. I guess I got hit pretty hard. They just didn't have it in there. The last rep was grindy on it, so it meant I within 1 rep of failure, or 1 rep in reserve, because it slowed down, and it hurt, so I quit. Reverse hypers, keeping with the strict ones, because I was able to get like 12s last time, I added 5 pounds. Right, we went with 280. Got my 3 sets of 10. I am doing these on all my non-lower days also for restoration at the moment. So they're getting more volume in. So I can really just go for maximizing that tension for 3 quality sets on the main training days. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm still continuing to get stronger at these while keeping them a lot stricter. And it feels completely different, right? I feel more low back doing them strict, less hamstring, which is fine because my hamstrings are getting beat up. Romanian deadlifts plus glute ham raises is one hell of a hamstring combination. And you can see my hamstrings, right? They're there, they're big, and they're going to get bigger. But overall, happy with this workout, so I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.